bells, jingle all the way, so jingle bells, jingle all the way. Kids were out caroling because it was already December, and Christmas was coming up fast. The young man was about to head back when he heard a group singing holiday songs, but the lyrics were all wrong. A cold gust of wind brushed Asher's face and reminded him that Christmas was only a few days away. He was one of those singles for the holidays guys, the Lonely for Christmas Club. "Advance Merry Christmas, sir," a child chirped. He looked over, and his eyes widened. The kid looked familiar. Wait, why does he look like me? We're both ridiculously handsome, Asher thought. He smiled at the boy and asked his name. "My name is Lucas." Asher's mouth parted when he heard it. "Are you by yourself?" Lucas glanced around and realized his caroling buddies had wandered off. "Oh no, where'd they go?" He peered this way and that, trying to find the other kids. "Where do you live?" "I'll take you home," Asher said gently to the cute kid. "My mommy told me not to go with strangers." "Don't worry. I'm not a bad person," the man said, soft-voiced. "Do you know my mommy?" Lucas blinked up at him. "Who is this child? Let's find out Asher's story." "Son," a woman's voice scolded sweetly, "I told you not to go out alone." That was Harriet, speaking to her 4-year-old boy, Lucas. "Lucas, are you listening to me?" She turned and froze when she saw 2 women beside him. "Harriet," said Agnes. "Mommy, Auntie Dawn brought me home." Lucas beamed at his mother. "Lucas, go inside first. Your Uncle Felix is there," Harriet told him kindly. The boy nodded and scampered off to Felix. "Harriet, what is it?" Agnes asked, puzzled. "I'm good. Come in," Harriet said with a smile. "Harriet, we looked for you for 5 years," Dawn blurted, eyes welling. "Is that little boy yours?" "Yes," Harriet nodded. "He's my son with Asher," she added, saying the name of her ex-husband. "Harriet, why didn't you tell us?" Agnes's voice cracked. 5 years ago when Asher and I got married, I thought he'd change. I loved him so much, but nothing. I left him. Then I found out I was pregnant. That same day, my mum had a stroke, and a little while later she was gone," Harriet cried. "Then my dad passed away. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to be a burden. I met Felix. He helped me. Everything my parents left me disappeared." Harriet brushed away tears. Dawn squeezed her hand. "You've never been a burden to us. You should have told us so we could stand with you." They had searched for Harriet for 5 long years. After the separation, Harriet had vanished, leaving her friends helpless to comfort her when she needed them most. "I'm sorry," Agnes said, hugging her. "We didn't do anything for you. You're not at fault. I should be the one apologizing." "I didn't even say goodbye," Harriet sobbed. Dawn and Agnes wrapped her in a tight embrace. They had missed each other too much. Harriet introduced her friends to Lucas and to Felix. "What will you do if you see Asher again?" Dawn asked. Harriet's house was simple. Felix had the money, and Harriet could have moved to a condo, but she chose this small, humble place. Lucas already had friends in the neighborhood, and moving would be hard on him. "Maybe I'll slap him," Harriet said with a laugh. "Do it," Agnes grinned. "Agnes, you're ridiculous," Dawn snorted. "What? Why are you two acting weird?" Harriet asked, suspicious. It felt like they were keeping something from her. "Because I married Leo," Agnes said. "Leo?" Harriet blinked. "As in, Asher's friend Leo?" Dawn nodded. "Yeah, it just happened." "Are you serious?" Harriet was still stunned. Who would have thought Dawn, Harriet's friend, and Leo, Asher's friend, would end up together when they barely spoke before. "What's your plan, Harriet?" Dawn pressed. "I don't know." Harriet sighed, shaking her head. "When parents don't get along, it's the kids who suffer." "Lucas is the one caught in the middle," Agnes said softly. "I'll admit Asher made mistakes. But maybe you two need to talk." "I can't bear to see him, much less talk to him," Harriet murmured, pain tugging at her chest. "Maybe Asher wants to talk and apologize, to give you both closure," Dawn said. "Maybe you could co-parent." "I don't know. I'm not ready to face him. You know how deeply he hurt me." Harriet's eyes hardened. "I'm sorry, Har. We're pushing too hard. We just worry about Lucas," Dawn said. "I worry about my son because he's my son. I don't want us to be a broken family, but Asher ruined everything." "I tried, didn't I? He pushed me away. He made sure we'd end up separated," Harriet said in a rush. Dawn and Agnes began visiting often. Lucas adored seeing his aunties. "Mommy," Lucas called one evening as Harriet tucked him in. "Yes, my love. What is it? When will I see my father?" Harriet's throat closed. "Your father is busy right now, and I don't know where he is," she said carefully. "Does he not love us?" Lucas asked, sad and small. Harriet cupped his face. "Don't say that, baby. Your daddy loves you. He's just very busy." She ran out of reasons. "I hope I can see him soon," Lucas whispered, fighting back tears. Harriet hugged him tight, hurting to see her child ache. Meanwhile, "Asher!" someone called. It was Leo, waiting by the parking lot. "You coming with Cade to the bar?" "I can't. I'm going straight home," Asher replied. "Then let's head out together," Leo said, glancing at their friend Cade. "You still going?" "Nah, maybe tomorrow. I'll just sleep," Cade yawned. "Come to my place for dinner. Dawn cooked," Leo added. They all nodded. Christmas was close, and kids were all over the neighborhood singing and caroling door to door. "Lucas, don't wander off," Harriet called after her son. "Why can't he keep still?" Dawn teased. "Doesn't he like us?" "Stop it. He's used to being with his friends, so he's outside a lot," Harriet said, fondly exasperated. "Isn't Lucas handsome?" "He looks so much like Asher," Agnes remarked, watching Lucas run. "I feel like if they meet, Asher might try to take him." "As if I'd let that happen," Harriet muttered. "Over my dead body." Her two friends traded looks. "You're not going in?" Cade asked Asher outside an apartment building. They'd stopped by to check on an employee who hadn't shown up to work. "I'll wait in the car," Asher said. He had just turned back toward his vehicle when he heard a child belting. "Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Almost fine and you want to? So slay." "Hey." The lyrics were a mess, and Asher chuckled despite himself. "Christmas really is almost here," he murmured. "Advance Merry Christmas, sir," the boy piped. Asher looked and froze. The kid looked familiar. Wait, why does he look like me? "What's your name?" Asher asked, stepping closer. The boy had striking blue-tinted eyes and a sharp little nose. "My name is Lucas." Asher's lips parted. The child didn't look rich, but he spoke English with a little lilt. "You're alone?" Asher asked, puzzled. Lucas turned around and realized his group was gone. "Oh no, where did they go?" "Where's your house? I'll take you. Mommy said not to go with strangers." "Don't worry. I'm not a bad person," Asher said in that gentle tone again. "Do you know my mommy?" Lucas blinked at him, waiting. Asher shook his head. "No, what's your mommy's name?" "Secret." Lucas giggled and Asher laughed with him. "Just take me home. Mommy and Uncle will be looking for me." "Come on then, I'll drive you." Asher scooped Lucas up and headed to his car, texting his friends that he'd be a bit late. The alley to Lucas's place was too narrow, so Asher parked and walked the boy in. People on the block watched them curiously as they passed. "Don't worry, huh? He's probably on his way back," Melissa, one of the mums from Lucas's caroling group, assured her. "Mummy!" Lucas shouted. Harriet spun at his voice. "Where have you been?" she cried, hugging him tight, and then she saw the man who'd brought him home. Asher. After 5 years, there he was, her ex. He had just realized the cute boy's mother was Harriet. "We went caroling, Mummy." "I'm sorry," Lucas said, looking up at her. "Sorry, Uncle," he added, to Felix. Asher's eyes flicked to Felix. So Harriet had a man. Husband? He turned to leave, but Lucas called out, "Hey, handsome!" Asher couldn't help glancing back. "Ash?" Harriet frowned, recognizing him. "Mommy, do you know him?" Lucas asked. "Baby, go inside with Uncle Felix," Harriet said softly. Felix nodded and led Lucas in. "How did you know I was here?" Harriet asked Asher, brow tight. "I didn't," he said. "I didn't expect you'd be living here. And whose fault is it that I'm here? That I lost everything? That I—" Her voice shook. "I'm sorry, Har," Asher said. "You're late, Ash," Harriet whispered, voice breaking. "I regret everything I did. I never told you how I felt. I was a coward," he said. "Enough. I refuse to be a fool for you again," Harriet said, shaking her head. "You never valued my feelings. I'm sorry, Har. I'm really sorry." "Leave," he hesitated. "Har, is Lucas my son?" Harriet went still. "No." Her answer was cold. "Har, please, even if it's just about Lucas." "Leave, Asher. I don't ever want to see you here again," she said, voice hard. "Har, leave. Lucas is not your child. Go," she shouted, driving him away. Asher had no choice. He got in his car and left, but he couldn't stop thinking about it all the way home. His gut told him Lucas was his, their son. "What's this I hear about you hiring someone to investigate?" Leo asked later. "You're so nosy," Asher muttered. "Well?" "Is that what you went to do last time?" Cade chimed in. Leo frowned. "Went where?" "I think I have a child," Asher said, deadly serious. "What?" both men blurted. "Did you see him?" "When? Where?" "We talked," Asher said after a moment. "But she's furious with me." "She kicked me out. There's a guy with her, maybe her husband." "Maybe the kid isn't yours," Leo said carefully. "Could be the new guy's." "The boy looks like me." "I can feel it. Blood recognizes blood. That's why I hired a private investigator. I need to know for sure that Lucas is my son." Meanwhile, something about Lucas had Harriet uneasy. She couldn't put her finger on it. "What's on your mind?" Felix asked over morning coffee. "Have you noticed anything with Lucas?" Felix shook his head. "No. Why?" "He comes home with food almost every day. Toys, too," Harriet said, puzzled. "Probably his Christmas caroling money and tips," Felix shrugged. "Maybe. But why every day?" Harriet wondered aloud. "Lots of folks here know your boy. People love him. That's normal. And after your ex showed up the other day, a bunch of neighbors asked me questions," Felix admitted. "About what?" Harriet sipped her coffee and looked up. "If they're father and son," Felix said quietly. I didn't say anything. "It's not my secret to tell." "Sorry, Har." "What?" "No, thank you," Harriet said softly. Since the breakup, Felix had been her rock. "Are you sure you don't want to move? Lucas is growing. I can build a place for you two. No, Felix, save for your future. I know who you're waiting for. Harriet teased. You're ridiculous, he chuckled, shaking his head. Tell me that again when she's in front of you. Harriet grinned, and he laughed. Are you coming over? Lucas asked Asher another day. They'd been meeting often, without any official acknowledgement that they were father and son, but Asher's heart knew the truth. Not today, Asher said. I don't really talk to strangers, Lucas said matter-of-factly. Mummy says some people can be bad. But when I saw you, I felt safe, and we kinda look alike. Asher couldn't speak for a moment. Lucas talked like an old soul, sharp and sweet. The feeling in Asher's chest surged. This was his boy. You're really not coming? Harriet asked Felix later. You go ahead. I have to meet with the mayor about the holiday festival, he said. Harriet nodded. You sure? What if Althea shows up? She teased. Stop, she's not back yet, Felix laughed. Maybe you're hiding her from me, Harriet shot back, and he shook his head. When she gets back, you'll be the first to know, he promised. Mummy, let's go, Lucas called. Your little guy's impatient, just like his dad, Felix joked. You should still come. Agnes and Dawn will be there, and he might be there too. No matter how much you avoid it, you'll run into Asher. That thought stayed with Harriet all the way to Dawn and Leo's place. It was their 3rd wedding anniversary, and Harriet had been invited to celebrate. Just a small gathering with close friends. Is that your son? Cade asked Harriet at the venue. Obviously, Leo replied. You've asked 3 times. I just can't believe she has a kid, Cade said, wide-eyed. He and Leo exchanged a knowing look but kept quiet. I'm sorry I'm late, a voice said, and Harriet's pulse jumped. Asher. She told herself she was angry, but she couldn't deny she'd loved him once. Lucas was the proof. There was an accident on the highway, Asher explained when Cade asked what took him so long. Mom, Lucas tugged on Harriet's sleeve. Yes, baby? Can I play with them? He pointed at 2 kids waiting. Sure, but don't go outside the gate. Stay in here, Harriet said. Yes, Mommy. I love you. I love you too. She kissed him and watched him run off. Lucas really takes after you, friendly and chatty. Agnes laughed. Harriet noticed Asher sneaking glances her way. She refused to meet his eyes. Especially back in high school, Dawn teased. Not all the time, Harriet said shortly, guarded. Agnes and Dawn fell quiet. You, Ash? Cade prodded, tipsy. Huh? Asher blinked. Leo elbowed Cade, worried he'd say something stupid. You got kids? Cade blurted anyway. Man, you're ridiculous, Leo hissed. Silence fell. Maybe, Asher said haltingly. He shrugged, trying to play it off. Harriet didn't know why that answer hurt. Her throat tightened, her chest twinged. Restroom, she muttered and hurried away. As she reached for the door, a hand closed over hers. She turned. Asher. What now? She asked, weary. The way you're acting, you're making it obvious that Lucas is mine, he said, brow furrowed. Please, Ash. Stop, Harriet said. Don't ruin Dawn and Leo's night. This is about them. I won't stop until I know the truth, Asher said, voice low. Harriet, what more do you want to know? Lucas isn't your child. He's ours, mine and Felix's, she shot back, eyes hard. I don't believe you, Asher said, shaking his head. Then don't. I don't care if you believe me. Just don't bother us again. We're done. I gave you chance after chance. I know I hurt you, Asher said, voice breaking. Please, let me explain. No, she said firmly. Harriet. I said no, Asher. I'm happy now. My son and I are happy. I don't need you. I'm not the old Harriet you knew. She slipped into the restroom and finally let herself cry. For weeks afterward, Harriet noticed that Asher seemed to stop stirring up their lives. She exhaled, sinking into the couch. Maybe he finally gave up. After everything I said, I hope he believed me. The doorbell rang. Agnes and Dawn swept in with takeout. Girl, you look deep in thought, Dawn said. Come with us. Bring Lucas. We're doing an overnight at a beach resort on the California coast. Leo showed me photos. Crystal clear water. What? Today? Harriet blinked. Today? Agnes grinned. If we plan it, we'll overthink it. Minutes later, they'd piled into a huge van. On the drive, Harriet's mind buzzed. Wait, is Asher coming? Dawn glanced at Leo's text. Nope, he's not. Harriet didn't know whether to feel relieved or oddly disappointed. Why not? You're concerned, Agnes sing-songed. He's sick, kidding. He's fine. They reached the resort, and Lucas lit up. Wow, Mommy, it's beautiful. He tore toward the shoreline. Lucas, don't go too far. Stay where I can see you, Harriet called. Look at our godson, Agnes teased. You're the strict one, huh? Not really, Harriet said, smiling. A familiar voice drifted over the sea breeze. So you all made it. Harriet's heart thudded. Asher? What are you doing here? Dawn blurted. We thought you couldn't come. You just thought that, he said, half smiling. I wouldn't miss this. Hi, Harriet. Long time, he told his ex-wife. Hello, you're here, she answered coolly. Agnes elbowed her. They ate, then hit the water. Later, Harriet sat on the sand, watching Asher teach Lucas how to swim. Her chest ached at the sight of them laughing together, father and son. She told herself it didn't matter. They'd survived without him for years. But how could she keep going when fate kept crossing their paths? That night they built a bonfire. Dawn and Leo cuddled on a driftwood log. On another, Lucas sat between Harriet and Asher, like a tiny, happy family. The two of them kept sneaking glances at Harriet and Asher, who were chuckling about something. What's funny over there? Agnes called. You three look like one small, happy family. Stop it, Harriet said, flustered. Let's play what we used to play at the beach, Agnes suggested, pulling out an empty bottle. Spin the bottle. We're too old for that, Harriet protested. You'll make me do something ridiculous. I'm in, Asher said. The bottle spun and landed on Asher, its tip pointing at Leo, the questioner. Truth or consequence? Leo asked. Truth, Asher said. Easier. Then straight up. Do you still feel anything for your ex, Harriet? Agnes and Dawn's eyes went wide. Leo! Asher swallowed and met Harriet's gaze. She waited, breath caught. Actually, scratch that, he said. Consequence. Boo! Leo laughed. He and Agnes huddled, then announced, slow dance, with Harriet. What? Both protested. But the music was already playing. It was It Might Be You, their old favorite. Asher offered his hand. Harriet hesitated, then placed her palm in his. They swayed in the firelight while Lucas clapped and whooped. Electricity snapped between them. The rhythm slowed, the world blurred. Their hearts hammered in sync. Afterward, everything went awkward. Faces flushed, they drifted apart. Later, Harriet asked Asher, quietly, to keep his distance. He was only confusing their lives. Asher left the trip, telling himself he'd focus on work for now, but that didn't mean he was giving up. Days passed without visits. Lucas drooped. Is he sick? Felix asked. He's been so quiet. I ask. He says he's fine, Harriet said. But, your kid is sharp, Felix said gently. He might have heard you and Asher arguing. Maybe that's why. Harriet's stomach dipped. I hope not. He keeps asking about his dad, but surely he wouldn't think Asher is... We don't know, Felix said. Lucas understands more than he lets on. Harriet went to Lucas's room. He lay on the bed, turned away. Buddy? No answer. She sat beside him. Is something wrong? He turned, tears streaking his face. Harriet's heart cracked. What happened? Why are you crying? He didn't answer, just hugged her. She held him, wordlessly soothing, knowing exactly what he missed. A few days later, Asher showed up. Are you mad at me? He asked Lucas softly. Why did you only come now? The boy pouted. Asher smiled. Did you miss me? Lucas didn't answer. He flung his little arms around Asher's neck. Shocked, Asher hugged him back. The DNA test results weren't in yet, but in his bones, Asher knew. Lucas was his son. I missed you, Lucas, he whispered. He rushed the DNA test along and stayed away again so he wouldn't inflame Harriet, who still wouldn't hear him out. One afternoon, Harriet spotted a car idling near the neighborhood basketball court. Lucas was at the mall with Agnes and Dawn. Felix had gone to see his parents. Harriet was alone. As she neared her gate, she recognized the couple waiting there. Aunt Risa, Harriet said, startled, Asher's mother, beside her husband, Alan. So it's true, Risa said coolly. You live here. Please come in, Harriet offered out of habit. In this place? Alan sneered. Yes, Harriet said, jaw tightening. I can't believe you're still alive, Risa said flatly. I thought you'd followed your parents. What? Harriet asked, stunned. Look, we know you and Asher are done. It's been 5 years. Don't ruin our son's life, Risa said. Harriet stared. Once she'd trusted them like her own parents. I'm not bothering your son, she said softly. No need to beat around the bush, Risa went on. We never wanted you for Asher. I don't even know what he saw in you. Harriet's heart stuttered. He loved me, did he? Risa smirked. We were nice to you because your family had money. Isn't that how it works? Your parents were stingy, wouldn't give us shares unless you married Asher, so we tolerated you. Poor thing. Harriet's throat burned, so all those kindnesses were an act. Do you need anything? Cash? Stuff? Say the word, Risa added, voice sugary. Be ashamed to throw away what we had. Leave, Harriet said, shaking. What? Risa snapped. Leave! I don't need your help. I can't believe my parents ever helped you. You're cruel, Harriet shouted, eyes bright with unshed tears. How dare you? Risa barked. Get out, Harriet said again, louder. Risa tugged Alan's sleeve. Let's go. She shot Harriet one last venomous look and hurried off. Harriet stood alone and finally let the tears fall. It's hard to know who to trust, especially when money is the only reason people are kind. When you have nothing left, they vanish. The next day, Harriet visited her parents' graves. She set down candles and flowers. Mom, Dad, I miss you so much. I'm struggling again. I think Lucas knows more than he says. He's so smart, she wiped her face. I trusted Aunt Risa. I thought she was good. I was so stupid. I want to tell Lucas the truth, but I don't know how. She stayed a while longer, breathed, and finally headed home. Across town, Leo slid open an envelope. 99.999999%, he read, eyes widening. Cade yelped, peering at the page. Asher's heartbeat thundered. He'd known. but seeing it still stunned him. "What now?" Leo asked. "I'm talking to Harriet," Asher said. "Do it." Leo nodded. Cade squinted. "I thought Felix was her husband." "Were you even listening?" Leo said. "Dawn told me Felix isn't her husband, and he's waiting on someone to come back." "You're both gossip machines," Cade laughed. "Enough," Asher cut in. "I need to figure out how to tell Harriet and how to tell Lucas." "Start with Harriet," Leo said. "Then Lucas. He looks exactly like you," Leo added, grinning. "First second I saw him, I thought you'd time-traveled." "What about your parents?" Cade asked. "That's a whole other mess." Asher went quiet. He hadn't told them about Lucas, or that he'd seen Harriet. "What's this about you seeing Harriet?" Risa demanded the next morning when Asher stopped by their house. "You think we wouldn't know?" Alan said sharply. "Please don't bother her," Asher said. No matter how he tried to hide things, they always found out. "Don't you dare show your face to that woman," Risa warned. "Why do you make my decisions for me?" Asher shot back. "What did you say?" Risa snapped. "We're only protecting you. She almost killed us, you know." "What?" Asher stared. "Harriet would never." "She did," Alan insisted, "when we visited." "When?" Asher growled. "You went to her?" Risa's lips thinned. "Are you angry with me? You'd choose that woman over us? She abandoned you." "She didn't," Asher said coldly. "I know what you're capable of. Leave her alone." He stood abruptly and walked out. He drove straight to Harriet's. No one was home. He turned to go when Lucas called out. Harriet emerged beside Felix, irritation flashing in her voice. "What are you doing here?" "Can we talk?" Asher asked, steady. "We're talking," Harriet said coolly. "I mean alone." She glanced at Lucas, who was already clinging to Asher's hand like a magnet. Confused by her son's attachment, she told him to go inside with Felix. "How long have you been seeing my child?" Harriet demanded once they were alone. "What?" Asher frowned. "Don't play dumb." "Someone told me you've been visiting him. I asked you to stop," Harriet said, voice cracking. "And then your parents came." "I welcomed them. They insulted me. I can't believe I ever trusted them. And now you're winning over my son behind my back? You've taken everything from me? Are you taking Lucas too? He's all I have left." "That's not it," Asher said softly. "I would never take him from you." "I love my son," she whispered. "When I left you, he was all I had." Asher stepped closer and wrapped his arms around her. She struggled, then stilled, feeling for the first time in a long while, safe. "What's this?" she asked when she'd calmed. He handed her an envelope. "I'm happy to have it confirmed." "I won't bother you. I'll just send what you need, if you're not ready." He managed a small smile and turned to go. He didn't want to make her life harder. If distance was what she needed, he'd give it. Harriet didn't answer. When he disappeared from view, she opened the envelope with trembling hands. One look at the paper, and her eyes filled again. She knew. She looked for the right moment to tell her son about his father. "Mummy, my birthday's coming up." "Will Daddy be there?" Lucas asked one evening. Harriet and Felix exchanged glances. "Well, honey, it's just that—" Harriet began, and stalled. "You and Daddy aren't okay yet?" Lucas asked innocently. "Daddy Asher, I mean." Harriet's eyes flew wide. She stared at Lucas, then at Felix, who looked just as startled. "Why do I look like Daddy Asher, Mommy?" Lucas went on seriously. "Plus, we both love cookies. And I asked my classmates how they feel about their dads. I think I feel that way too." He smiled softly. Harriet didn't speak. She gathered him into her arms. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry, she whispered. Daddy's kind, Lucas said simply. Harriet said nothing more. She held him and cried quietly. She wanted her child to be happy. She would do whatever was best for Lucas. Is something wrong? Asher asked later, when he met Harriet a few days before the birthday. Send me the details. I'll handle everything, he said at once. He wants you there, Harriet cut in. Asher froze. The words struck him like sunlight. He wants me there? I said, our son wants to see you. He asks about you all the time, Harriet answered. Our son, Asher repeated under his breath. He's persistent, Harriet chuckled weakly. You want me at the party? He asked. Do you want me to introduce myself as his father? Harriet sighed. He's smart, Ash. He already knows. He looks exactly like you. I haven't told him everything yet, but I'm pretty sure he knows. I'm sorry, Harriet, Asher said, suddenly solemn. I thought if you found out he was ours, I'd chase you and never stop. But when I got the result, I was happy, and I backed off. I didn't want to hurt you more. I thought you were married. Married? Since when? Harriet blinked. Who told you that? Felix. He lives with you, Asher murmured, looking away, jealousy evident. Excuse me? Harriet stared. When did I get remarried? You knew before I did? Felix isn't my husband. Then why do you share a house? Asher asked, baffled. Because when I left you, I had no one. I went home. I found out I was pregnant. I stayed for a while. Then Mom died. Then Dad. Everything fell apart. After we separated, bad luck came one after another. I thought you cursed me, she said with a sad laugh. We lost everything. Felix found me. He helped me. I'm sorry, Asher whispered. I wanted you happy. I thought leaving would fix things. I was wrong. You suffered more. I should have stayed. I should have been there. I was scared. I thought if I told you how much I loved you, you'd leave anyway, and you still did. His eyes shone. I looked for you. I did. I found you once, but my mother warned me not to go back or else, and you looked like you were okay, so I didn't disturb you. I returned later to the same address. The owner said you'd moved. Tears slid down Asher's cheeks. I didn't help you. I didn't support you. I wasn't there. Your whole life, you showed me how much you loved me. I felt it. Forgive me for not showing you mine. I was a coward, but even when I didn't say it, I still lost you. He took her hand. I love you. I love you so much, Harriet. Then and now, he pressed a kiss to her knuckles. A tremor of electricity leapt under her skin. She still felt something for him. She was just scared. It's okay if you can't answer yet, he said. I'll wait for you. I'll prove it. I'll show you that my heart still chooses you. He touched his chest and smiled. That's what Asher did. For weeks he came by to see Harriet and Lucas. Felix, meanwhile, had his own happiness. Althea was finally back. So, when's the wedding? Agnes teased Harriet one afternoon. What wedding? Harriet frowned. You and Ash, duh. Agnes grinned. Don't play coy. This is your second chance. Ask Cade and Agnes, Dawn shot back, teasing her husband and their friend in return. We're happy, thank you, Cade said primly. Low-key shady, Dawn snorted, and they all laughed. Outside, Asher was tossing a ball with Lucas, both of them grinning like mirror images. So, Agnes said, eyebrow arched. You're in a rush, Harriet muttered, rolling her eyes. We've waited forever for Asher to speak up, Agnes replied. Harriet's eyes widened. What do you mean waited? You knew. Agnes glanced at Dawn for help. Girls, Harriet warned gently. Okay, Dawn said, exhaling. Asher told us a long time ago what his parents did. We were furious with Aunt Risa and Uncle Alan. We just couldn't find you. You should have told me when you finally saw me, Harriet said. We didn't want to meddle. You and Asher needed to talk yourselves, Agnes said. I still can't believe his parents did all that. For money. Harriet looked outside again. Asher lifted Lucas and spun him. Both were laughing. She smiled despite herself. I'm going to propose to her, Felix told Harriet later with a grin. One day, Harriet and Lucas were packing. At last, they were moving. To Asher's house. OMG, congrats, Felix. I knew you'd propose to Althea, Harriet said, excited. You deserve it. Thanks, Har. I'm happy for you too, Felix replied. Don't make me cry before I go, Harriet laughed, but tears pricked anyway. I should be saying that, Felix chuckled. If Althea hadn't come home this year, I would have flown to the States to follow her. You love her that much, Harriet said, glowing. I'm happy for you, Lix. Finally, it's happening. Thanks, Harriet. And I'm happy for you. Your family's whole again. And invite me to your wedding, okay? He winked. Crazy, I'm fine like this, Harriet teased. We're good. You're not going to marry him? Felix asked, brow raised. Maybe if he asks, before we go, she joked. For now, I'm happy where we are. They hugged, both blinking back tears. A soft throat clearing made them turn. Asher stood there with Lucas in his arms, watching. Your husband's jealous, Felix whispered to Harriet. He's not my husband, she whispered back, swatting him with a laugh. They turned to Asher. Lucas wriggled down to hug Felix. I'll miss you, Uncle, Lucas said sweetly. Felix hugged him tight and whispered, Take care of Mommy, okay? Don't be naughty, and tell your dad to marry Mommy so she stops getting jealous of me, he added with a laugh. Asher frowned, curious what Felix had whispered. Take care, Felix said to them both. Thanks for taking care of them, Asher told him. It was nothing. Take good care of them, Felix said, smiling. They left. Lucas fell asleep on the ride. Asher carried him in and tucked him into bed, kissing his forehead before heading to the kitchen to cook. Harriet watched him. He'd been quiet the entire drive, and ever since they arrived. Is something wrong? She asked finally. No, he said, glancing over. You're mad? Harriet pressed. No, he answered, but his cool aura said otherwise. How am I supposed to know what you're thinking if you won't talk? She said. You've been silent all evening. What's eating you? Does Felix like you? Asher blurted. Harriet blinked and then laughed. Are you jealous? Yes, he admitted instantly, looking away, cheeks tinting. Felix doesn't like me that way. He's got a girlfriend, Althea, and he's about to propose, Harriet said, still amused. What's funny? Asher grumped. That's how you get jealous? You go all quiet, she teased. First you thought he was my husband. Now you think he's in love with me. You and your imagination. You're just in love with me, she added impishly. Asher didn't answer. He just looked at her. Their eyes met, and time held its breath. I should be the jealous one, Harriet murmured, glancing aside. Of who? He asked, confused. You think there are other women? After all this time looking for you, you think I had time for that? How would I know? She shot back, playful. Unfair. I try to be sweet and you toss it back at me. You were being sweet? Harriet laughed. His pout deepened. You're cute, she said, cupping his cheek to study his face. Asher's gaze dropped to her lips. He leaned in. Harriet's eyes fluttered shut. Their mouths met, and her heart sprinted. His did too. "Welcome home!" a chorus cheered. They sprang apart, blushing furiously, as their friends popped up with food bags. "Seriously? Our girl just got back and you're already devouring her," Agnes scolded Asher. "Give them a minute," Dawn snickered, 5 months pregnant, hand on her belly. "Where's Lucas?" Cade asked. "He's sleeping." "Wiped out from the drive," Asher said, calling the housekeeper to help with the bags. "Let's eat." "I'm starving," Agnes declared. They dug in. Harriet avoided Asher's eyes. Asher kept sneaking looks at her. "Mommy, when will I get a sibling?" Lucas asked the next day, eyes big. Thank goodness Asher wasn't in the room yet. "Why? Don't you want to be Mommy's only playmate?" Harriet hedged. "I do, Mommy. But I want a baby brother or sister. Some of my friends already have siblings," Lucas said, lower lip out. "We'll talk about it with your daddy first, okay?" Harriet said. "Daddy told me to talk to you," Lucas replied cheerfully. "He's okay with it." Harriet's mouth fell open. "He told you that?" Her cheeks flushed. "Yes, Mommy." "Are you making a baby now?" Lucas asked earnestly. Harriet's face went bright red. Before she could respond, she heard Asher on the phone in the next room. She shot him a glare when he walked in. "What?" he asked, hanging up. "What did you tell our son?" Harriet demanded, arching a brow. "About making him siblings, plural." Asher's lips parted. Then he broke into a grin. "It's not like we won't." "Asher," she warned. He put up his hands, laughing. "We'll go where we're headed anyway. Our eldest is growing up." "I don't know. You—" she huffed, but she was smiling. "I love you," he said suddenly. Harriet stilled. Their eyes met. "I love you too, Ash. It never really went away," she said softly. He kissed her. "Marry me," he murmured against her lips. Her eyes flew open. "Right now?" "No need to drag it out. It's our second time," he teased. "After Lucas's birthday, we'll talk about it," she said, smiling. Asher nodded and hugged her. Days flew, and Lucas's birthday arrived. "Happy birthday, my love," Harriet said, hugging and kissing him. "Thank you, Mommy," he beamed. "Happy birthday, buddy," Asher said, hugging and kissing him too. They handed over gifts. Lucas's face lit up. His friends were there, and Felix had come with his fiancée, Althea. "Did he propose?" Dawn asked Harriet, waggling her brows. "Not yet," Harriet laughed. "Why not?" Agnes demanded. "Oh, relax," Dawn said. "Don't be extra." "We talked about the wedding," Harriet admitted, "and apparently everyone wants a follow-up to Lucas, including Lucas. Turns out Asher planted the idea in his head," she added, rolling her eyes fondly. Their friends were still laughing about it when the light suddenly went out. Harriet frowned. Then the lights flared on again, and Asher stood in front with a mic. She stared. "What is this?" she asked, looking around. Everyone was quiet. Too quiet. Suspiciously quiet. "Love," Asher began, voice steady. "It's been years. I thought I'd never see you again. I was this close to giving up. The day I saw Lucas, I felt it. He was mine. And when I learned you were his mother, I had to know. I investigated because you said no, and I understood why. You were angry, rightly so. When the DNA result came, I was overwhelmed with joy. But you were still angry, so I stepped back, worried we'd hurt each other more, but we couldn't stay away. I love you, Harriet. I'll do anything to be with you, for our son. I'll do everything so we never separate again." He walked to her and knelt. The room held its breath. Tears slipped down Harriet's face. "Will you marry me again?" Asher asked. "Yes," she said immediately. Yes, I'll marry you again." Their friends erupted. Asher slid the ring onto her finger and wiped her tears before pulling her into a hug. "I love you," he whispered. "I love you too," she said. Lucas barreled into them, and the three of them hugged, grinning through happy tears. Everyone cheered. At long last, Harriet and Asher were going to marry again. Meanwhile, one day Asher was sitting with his parents when Risa said brightly, "Leia's flying home. You should pick her up, son. I'm sure she's missed you." Alan nodded. "Your engagement party is already scheduled. Wedding's next." "I'm getting married," Asher said. Risa's eyes lit up. "You proposed to Leia?" "Oh my God, why didn't you tell me?" "No," Asher said evenly. "I proposed to Harriet last week." "Why would you propose to Harriet?" Risa snapped. "Because I don't love Leia," Asher answered, voice cool. "What did you just say?" Risa's voice rose. "The party is set. She's on her way home. The marriage is happening." "I never agreed to marry Leia," Asher said. "Watch your tone," Alan warned. "She's your mother. You will marry Leia. We need their money. That's final. Who did you propose to, "Me," said a new voice from the doorway. Harriet stepped in, lifting her hand so the ring caught the light. The married couple gaped. "What is that woman doing here?" Risa hissed. "Surprise," Harriet said with a small razor-edged smile. "Don't call me Mom," Risa shot back. "My son is not marrying you." "Sorry," Harriet replied mildly. "He already proposed." "Asher!" "We talked about this," Risa said, livid. "Why did you go back to her?" "She's no good for you." "I love Harriet," Asher said, steady and sure. "I loved her then, and I still do. I will not let you separate us again." "So you choose her over us?" Alan demanded. "If that's what it takes for my family?" "Yes," Asher said. "I'm choosing my family." Risa and Alan stared, speechless. "I can't believe you do this to your own child," Harriet said quietly. "You're repeating what you did years ago." "Please, let Asher be happy." "I'm choosing my family," Asher repeated, turning to them. "My family is my wife and my child." "Child?" Risa echoed faintly. "We have a son," Asher said. "I only found out this year. Because of everything you did, I lost years with them. Are you happy now?" Alan's mouth worked. Risa looked away, eyes wet but hard. "Mommy!" a small voice called from the hall. Lucas had woken up. Asher scooped him up. Risa and Alan took in the undeniable likeness, father and son. "Please don't come around us anymore," Asher said at last, voice like ice. "From today on, I'm cutting whatever ties I have with you." Harriet stared at him, shocked at the finality, but she saw the pain it cost him. A week later, the decision still weighed on him. "Are you really not inviting your parents to our wedding?" Harriet asked gently. "I haven't heard from them." "And we already discussed this," Asher said softly. "They're still your parents," she murmured. "And you," he replied, brushing a thumb along her cheek, "are kinder than my mother ever was. But my decision stands. What they did to you, what they did to us, there's no remorse." Harriet hugged him, respecting his choice. Days flew by. Asher and Harriet were busy with wedding plans. Dawn gave birth to a baby girl. Life felt bright again. "You're really eager to give Lucas a sibling," Harriet teased Asher one evening when he couldn't stop kissing her. "I've been saying that for ages," he murmured. "Not yet. I'll gain weight and my gown won't fit," she protested, pouting. "Then I'll have a new one made," he grinned. "Anything for you." "Oh, so now you're throwing money around because it's my gown?" she shot back, laughing. For you? Always, he said. She rolled her eyes, smiling. Okay, but do not get me pregnant before the wedding, she warned playfully. I can't promise that, he whispered, mouth trailing to her neck until she squealed and swatted him. 6 months before the wedding, Harriet received a text from Risa asking to meet. She didn't want to go. Asher would be furious. But she also wanted to know what Risa had to say. Asher was napping. Harriet took Lucas with her so he could see his grandparents. Thank you for coming, Risa said, looking oddly small and embarrassed. What do you need to talk about? Harriet asked, guarded. Risa pulled a check from her bag and slid it across. This is everything we took. I'm sorry. Harriet glanced down and froze. The figure read $5 billion. What do you mean? Harriet asked hoarsely. When your parents died, we met with your attorney. We took all your family's assets, Risa said, voice breaking. We were blinded by money. I didn't notice I'd changed. I didn't notice my own son. We thought only of ourselves. Harriet couldn't find words. Shock, anger, grief, and relief swirled inside her. Lucas watched quietly from beside her. I'm sorry for everything, Risa said. Because of us, you lost everything. Your child suffered. I wish I could undo it. I never imagined you could do this, Harriet whispered. All of it, sitting with you, trusting you, and you were taking everything. I'm so sorry, Risa repeated. I asked Asher to forgive us too. I want his family whole on your wedding day. I don't want to carry hate in my heart, Harriet said, looking away. Thank you for returning what's mine. Don't worry, Risa said. This will be the last time you see us. She glanced at Lucas. May I hug my grandson? Harriet nodded. Lucas went to her, and Risa clutched him, tears spilling freely. Harriet looked away, blinking hard. Risa said goodbye to Harriet and Lucas. She had barely stepped out when Asher arrived, breathless. Daddy! Lucas cried, running to him. I was worried, Asher said, gathering them in. Then he looked past Harriet and saw his mother leaving, his jaw set. Did you do anything to them? He asked Risa, anger tightening his voice. I told you to leave them alone. Asher, Harriet said gently, touching his arm. She didn't hurt us. She came to apologize and to return what she took. Please don't be angry. It's okay, Harriet, Risa said softly. Let him be angry. He should be. We've done enough. I hope you'll attend our wedding, Harriet said, surprising them both. Whatever else they were, Risa and Alan were Asher's parents. Love, Asher warned under his breath. Harriet only smiled at him, then looked back to Risa. We hope to see you there. Harriet, Risa whispered, and hugged her. Harriet hugged back. Forgiveness had always been Harriet's strongest grace. I thought you left me again, Asher murmured later when they got home. You were gone when I woke up. I kept calling. We're right here, Harriet said, smiling. You're not losing us. We're getting married, remember? No backing out. I love you, Asher said, and kissed her. At last, the day they'd been waiting for arrived. The church was filled with friends and the people who had stood by them through the years. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Finally, said the priest, and Asher kissed his wife like he'd never let go again. Hey, tone it down, Agnes laughed. Act like she's not pregnant. Oh, please, Leo added with a grin. They've got a honeymoon. Enough, Harriet scolded them, laughing and blushing as Asher slipped an arm around her. After the ceremony, photos and laughter filled the air. Lucas giggled non-stop, especially when his parents kissed right there at the altar. At the after-party, Asher spotted his parents across the room. He hesitated, then remembered Harriet's words. He crossed the floor and hugged them both. Harriet watched, hand over her belly, feeling the baby's tiny kick. "Are you happy too, little one?" she whispered. "Daddy and your grandparents made peace." Asher looked over at her and smiled. Lucas sprinted to join the hug. 5 years later, Asher's parents passed away. Painful as it was, the family was grateful they'd reconciled and spent years together before the end. Peace had settled over old wounds. Lucas had grown into a handsome 5th grader. Their second, Hero, was 5 and in preschool. Their twins, Ivory and Athena, had just turned 1. "Look at Mommy's beautiful babies," Harriet cooed when the twins woke, cheeks warm and drowsy. "So pretty, just like Mommy," she teased, grinning at them. Lucas was at school. Hero would be home soon. Asher was at work. Harriet bathed the twins, dressed them, and brought them downstairs to play. Later, she picked up Hero. "Mommy, look! I got stars!" Hero announced, showing 3 star stickers on his hand. "Wow, Mommy's so proud," she said, kissing his forehead. When they pulled into the driveway, Harriet blinked. Asher's car was already there. Inside, Lucas was playing peekaboo with Ivory, and Asher had Athena in his arms. "You two are early," Harriet smiled, stepping in. "Half day, Mommy." Lucas grinned, kissing her cheek. "Hold on, I left my phone upstairs," Harriet said, heading to their room. When she came down, the house was suspiciously quiet. Then she heard singing, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Harriet." Their friends were there, Dawn and Leo with their kids, Agnes and Cade with theirs. Felix and Althea were there too. In the blur of caring for her children, Harriet had forgotten her own birthday. "Thank you," she said, crying as everyone hugged her. She kissed her twins' soft heads. Asher pulled her close and kissed her. "Happy birthday, love. Thank you for taking care of us. I love you," he said. "Thank you, love." "I love you too," she replied, smiling against his shoulder. "I love you more," Asher said, laughing as their friends groaned. Okay, okay," Agnes chuckled. "Before we all get cavities, let's eat." They dove into food and stories, kids squealing, adults teasing, hearts full. Time slipped past. December again. One evening, a noisy chorus outside made Asher and Harriet pause. Someone was singing, terribly. Jingle bells, jing all the way. Oh, fun. I wish you ride in one show and sleigh. Hey, Asher snorted. Deja vu, he told Harriet. Carolers outside, and their lyrics are all wrong. They opened the door and burst out laughing. Their own kids were the culprits, caroling on the porch and mangling the song. They pulled them into a family hug. Later, the whole family curled up on the sofa. Kids, Harriet said, mock stern, instead of jing bells and all those mystery words, we'll teach you the real lyrics tonight. They laughed and sang the right words together, voices overlapping, warm and a little off-key, but perfectly theirs. Who would have thought they would still choose each other to the end? Their love proved that no matter how many storms you weather, you can stay, you can fight, and you can build something that lasts. Their children were the living proof of that love, and they would always be there for one another, for their small, joyful family. And that is where the love story of Asher and Harriet comes to a close. Thank you, my amazing viewers and members of this nation. I am grateful to those who congratulated me on our new milestone 100,000 subscribers. You guys are the MVPs. For those of you who haven't joined our Telegram family yet, do well to click on the link in the description or pinned comment to join us and interact in real time with me and other members of this nation. Thank you. It's your friend Mr. Hope. I love you, and I'll see you there.